Okay, so let's get started with Selenium. Now, Selenium is one of the testing tools which we use for the functional testing. Functional means the software, whatever the functionality which we have. Uh, so we want to test that functionality, and that is we call it a functional testing. Okay. So Selenium is primarily used for web-based testing. Mind it, it's not for the desktop application-based testing and so on. So yeah. So as part of these discussions, let's get started with why to use Selenium. What is Selenium? Different versions and suite of tools. How to set up Selenium and some hands-on. So why we use Selenium? Simple. We use Selenium because of manual testing is getting time consuming and lots of bandwidth required for it. So we want to automate it. In fact, in DevOps, you know that everything has to be automated and everything should be driven by code. And that's one of the reason, one of the most important reason why we use Selenium. Now, again, on top of that, other reasons we have like it's open source, it's a free software, it's compatible with all the operating systems. Selenium lets you perform tests on any browser like Firefox, Chrome, and Edge and Microsoft IE and all kind of things. IE anyways is got expired. So Selenium supports multiple programming languages as well. So some of these are the reasons which we use Selenium. Now look at this here. If you want to compare Selenium with other product, if you have HP QTP, IBM RFT, Test Complete, Selenium and all. So if you find this one, then you will find that Selenium, the one which you have, uh, in terms of cost, which is free. I mean, so in terms of coding skills, if you compare, here you have the little bit of learning curves, but apart from that, in every areas the Selenium is leading actually. In terms of license, is open source, cost free, customer support, community based, environment support, almost anything, language supports almost multiple one. So yeah, the little bit of learning curve is required, and that is one of the things which you have in it. So Selenium, what is Selenium? So Selenium is open source tool that can automate almost any web browser. So many test cases, so much of work, so much of stress, and that this will Selenium will help you to do that and get your automation testing done. So now in terms of release cycle, if you look at this, Selenium primarily is coming in a suite actually. So what it include? So we have Selenium ID, Selenium Grid, Selenium RC, and Selenium WebDriver. Each of this component we'll discuss in some time in detail. So now look at the multiple release has happened over the period of time. So if you look at the Selenium version 1, so we had ID, we had a grid, we had RC, and then we got WebDriver also. Now in a Selenium 2, ID is remain same, grid is remain same, but RC and WebDriver they merge into the Selenium WebDriver. And now in the version 3, we have ID, grid, and WebDriver. Now what is ID, what is grid, and what is WebDriver? This I need to discuss with you. So remember that in the latest version of Selenium, you have a 3 component ID, grid, and WebDriver. So which are the browser which is supported by Selenium? Almost you see that almost all. And how it works. So look at this. You write a code in Selenium and you send it to the Selenium. Selenium will send to the different drivers of the browser, and that driver will call the browser and run it, and then that is how the multiple testing can happen. I'll show you that through the demo also. This one. This is the exhausted list of browsers which is supported with the Selenium. These are the languages support which you have. So if you think you want to write a code for automation testing, functional testing using Java, you can do that. C#, Ruby, Python, JavaScript, Perl, and PHP is also supported. So how do we set up a Selenium? So this is very simple. First install the browser. You don't have to do that because it's anyways installed in it. And download and set the some location where the Selenium can be located, and then set in the path. These are the things which I'll show you through the demo also. So get going. Okay, so these are the drivers. These are the drivers and their locations, which I'll set up for you while doing the demo. So please remember that. So these are the Eclipse setups which you don't want. So now this question is, what is ID? What is ID? Okay, so when I talk about ID, then you must be thinking about it must be some sort of editor. Is that so? All of you? What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not editor actually. So it is a plugin. I repeat, Selenium ID. Remember that there were three components of Selenium. One is ID, one is WebDriver, and one is a grid. I'm talking about the ID, the first component. So what is ID? So ID is basically a plugin. Okay, but plugin for what? Plugin for browser. Yes. Sometimes we call it a plugin, sometimes we call it extension, sometimes we call it a component, depends on the which browser you are using. Okay, so it's a browser plugin or browser extension or component. Okay, so what exactly this will do? What exactly it will do? So, so guys, think in simple way. ID is one of the component. Using that, you can browse any website and record the session. Please hear me out. Using ID plugin, when you enable it, when you browsing the session, browsing the website for any manual testing, so that session you can record it and you can replay as many times you want. I repeat, let's say you want to test the some login form. Okay, mind it, you are testing some login form. So you open up a certain URL, you given the user ID and password, and if you login succeeded, a welcome page will come. If login failed, something else will come. So this is the one test, login test. So if you want to record this session, you can use the ID plugin for it. Am I making some sense here? All of you? Hello?
Yeah,
Am I
Raj.
audible?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is something which we call it ID. Okay. So using ID, we record the session, and that session recording will be converted into Selenium. We call it a Selenium, generate a Selenium, and that you can play as many times you want on repeat. Okay. So this is something which you do that. So Selenium, now talk about the Selenium, the one which is getting stored. So Selenium basically tells Selenium what to do. So Selenium, this Selenium commands, which is called Selenium. Also, there are three types of Selenium you have. You have actions, assessors, and assertions. I repeat, action, assessors, and assertions. So what is action? Action, what you do on the web page, like a submit, click, hover, select. These are the call actions. Okay. So actions generally manipulate the state of applications, like a click on the links or select that options. If an action fail or has an error, the execution of the current test is stop. So now that's the action. What is the assessors? Anything you do on the page, it generates some response. Okay, that response is getting stored in assessors in form of variable. For example, let's say you open up a website xyz.com, so it will give you some results, right? So all the results we get is stored in the memory and with certain variables, and that is called assessors. For example, title, when you open up a website and you get the response code that has a title, right? So that title can be a one variable. Now what is assertions? So assertion is a way to verify, to check whether you have got the right assessors or not, whether you got the right output or not. Okay, so assessors verify that the state of application is same to what we are expecting. So basically Selenium will contain actions, assessors, and assertions. Are you getting these three terminologies, all of you?
Yeah.
Okay, so now this is the some format of assessors. Here you have actions, target area, and what exactly value you may get it. So these are the list of actions which is there, and Now here we have list of assertions. So assertions is also of three types: assert, verify, and wait for. So when you use assert, then if that, let's say, your assessors is not as per your desire, then when assert fail, the test is aborted also. Whereas when verify fails, the test will continue executions log in the future. And when you use a wait for, so in this wait command wait for the some conditions to become true and then you continue. So these are the three types of assertions which you have: assert, verify, and wait for. Okay, so now let me show you some demo for this ID. So what you have to do, you have to open up some browsers. So let's use Firefox. Okay, here it is. Now, what I'm going to do, the first step, I'm going to install the ID. So how do you install the ID? So go to the add-ons and theme, and here you see that ID is already installed. But if you want to install it, here find more add-ons, and you can search for Selenium IDs and you can get it. Though for me it's already installed in front of you, so I don't have to install it. But yeah, in your case, you have to install these plugins. Now this is enabled by default. So now here you see that this one, see here. So now when you open up this one, then here record a new test in a new project, or open existing project, or create a new project, or close Selenium ID. So all these options you have. So what you're going to do, create a new project. Now project name is Rajesh Kumar.xyz. Now this is the project name. Now here you have lots of things. So look at this here, your new project, open a project, save project. Okay, here you have button to run all test, run single test, current test, and here you will store the command, target, and value when you start the recording for your browser sessions. And left side you have all the test cases. So here you can write rename, duplicate, delete, and export. So you can do the test cases. So this is the Rajesh Kumar .xyz. I'm just naming it home page testing. Home page testing. So this is the test cases which you have it, and you can add a more test cases also. Here test cases, new test cases, and now here test suite executions and all stuff like that. Downside you have logs, some references. So can we start now? So what I'm going to test this, I'm going to test this, let's say Rajesh Kumar.xyz, which I'm having here, and I want to make sure that let me find out the title. So what is the title for this page? This is pretty long actually. So I want to make sure that this page, when it returns over 16 years of experience, then it's false. But if it will return 15, then it's true. Test case passes, something like that. So what to do? So start the recording. So before that, I'll just copy this browser. Start the recording. Base URL. Start the recording. Okay. Now this whole session is being recorded. Whatever you will do on this page, it will be recorded. So here, let's say you select, you can click more options, but right now what I want to do, just select this options. Okay, and right click, just right click, and here right click and go to Selenium IDs, and here I see assert, store, verify, wait for. So here I am asserting based on the what? So based on the assert text. So here assert text, title, value, all this thing you have. Text, I selected this, and now I'm going to stop this here. Okay, so now see here. So the test cases is open up website, which is here. Maximize the windows. It's recorded every session. Click here, click here, click here, and then assert. And this is something which you have it. So this assert I did it, and now for this project I will save it. That's all. So this is the one test cases. So in that cases you have to open one website and check that whether the string is available, that particular test is available or not. Did you understand that, all of you?
Thanks for watching. Want to study further? Join our training programs today.